curious monsters, and welcome to the lab. I'm Teacher Jackie. Today, let's talk about fish. There are lots of cool things about fish. Things like how exactly they can breathe underwater using their gills, or how some fish, like sharks, actually keep moving even while they're sleeping. Well, they don't sleep like us humans, but that's still cool. You can look up all those cool fishy facts with mom or dad online. Or you can wait for a future video of ours. But today, we'll talk about my favorite thing about fish, and that's their cool, amazing colors. Today, we'll find out why fish look the way they do and why their scales are colored like that. Afterwards, I have a fun art activity where we get to design our very own fish. Before we dive into this ocean, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps you tune in to the next Curious Monster Lab adventure. I promise you, it will make your life better to be hearing about all this fun stuff as soon as it goes up. Trust me, it's the best. For goodness take, what are you waiting for? Trout yourself to a fun video. You'll be hooked. Alright, enough of that, let's talk fish colors now. There are lots of reasons why fish are colored the way that they are. Sometimes it's to show how old the fish is. Sometimes it's to show if it's a male or female. A lot of the time though, fish use their colors for camouflage. Camouflage is a word that means they use their colors or patterns to make it harder to spot. If the fish is harder to spot, that makes it easier to hide from the predators that would want to nom them. Here are 4 ways that fish use their colors for camouflage. The first way is protective resemblance or disguise. That means the fish uses its colors and sometimes even the shape of its body to look like something that the predator would not really mind. Sometimes they look like a rock or a floating leaf. It's anything that the predator might not pay attention to. See if you can spot the hidden fish in this picture. Did you see it? It's right there. The second way is disruptive coloration. That means they use patterns like stripes or spots to be able to disrupt the outline of their body. Okay, here's how it works. See my arm? You can clearly see that this is part of my arm and not that. That is part of the background. You can see it because this clear line and this clear line shows that this is where my body is. When a fish uses disruptive coloration, it becomes harder to figure out where the fish's body ends and where the background begins. Try looking for the fish in this background. There it is! Did you spot it? The third way is mimicry. So the first way, they use their colors to disguise themselves as everyday objects. Mimicry is when they use their colors to disguise themselves as another animal. Usually, they disguise themselves as a different, more dangerous animal. So when the predators look at them, they'll only see that dangerous animal and they won't even bother coming close. The fourth way is called countershape. This is my favorite. It may not be the coolest looking, but it blew my mind when I found out about it. Counter shading is when the top part of the fish is darker and the bottom part of the fish is lighter. Have you ever wondered why a lot of the fish we see are like that? I sure did. So I read about it and here's what I found. The top is dark because when you're on top of the water looking down, it's very dark. So they're very hard to see. The bottom is light because when you're under the water looking up at the sky, it's very bright. So they're still hard to see. Isn't that cool? So simple yet so effective. Let's apply what we learned and design our own fish with the coolest camouflage. For this, we're gonna need paper, tin foil, scissors, glue, markers, and paint. Before we get started though, remember this, your art is your own. You don't have to make it look like anyone else's. There's no right way to do it because you're using art to express your creativity. If the picture you're making doesn't match the picture in your head, just try again. Keep trying again until you get it. Practice is what makes us better. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is to cover the whole sheet of paper with glue. You can use a paintbrush to spread it evenly. Make sure there aren't patches of super wet glue. That will also help it take less time to dry. Next, measure out the tin foil. It has to be enough to cover the whole paper. You can make it a little bigger than the paper. We can always cut it later. Leave it to dry. When the glue is dry, we can start drawing the fish shapes. Make them small enough that you can make a lot out of the sheet of foil, but also big enough so that you can draw inside the fish. You can make it any shape you like. You can copy the picture of a real fish that you like, or you can use your imagination to design your own fish. Once the body is done, you can draw the other parts of the fish. Remember, it needs fins to swim. Some have more than others, but all fish have them. Finally, the fish needs scales. That's what we'll color to make them unique. Fill the body of the fish with scales. Now, do that a bunch more times until you run out of space on your foil. Now we paint. Let your imagination run wild. Color in each of the scales with whatever colors you want. You can use the patterns we just learned to give your fish some camouflage. When you're done, leave the paint to dry. Now, we're going to cut out all those fish. Remember, always keep the scissor hand pointing forward. Use your other hand to turn whatever it is you're cutting. Now that you have your school of fish, yep, that's what you call a group of fish, you can bring this artwork into several directions. I'll show you some ideas. You can put them in the background and see if your camouflage pattern works there. It can be just a straight up drawing, or you can paint it. You can even put seaweed, coral, or rocks around for them to hide in. Or you can stick some string on them and hang them like a mobile. Or you can just stick them around your room or your fridge. You can do anything. It's your art. Let your creativity run wild. There's no wrong way, it's just your own way. Well, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed learning about fishy camouflage. Which one was your favorite? I wonder if we chose the same one. Have fun making your artwork. Remember, it's yours. Moms and dads, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook, so you can always keep up with all things Curious Monster Lab. Actually, if the kids made the artwork, maybe you can send it there. I'd love to see what the kids have made. Anyway, it's time for me to sign off. Always remember that you can make the world a brighter place just by remembering this. Be brave, be kind, and stay curious.